labeled a hero, that they're a hero forever? Can they fall from that grace of being a hero? What do you think about that? I'm trying to expand this outside of just the Odyssey, because I feel like a lot of you have great opinions, because I know, because I read them, and I want you to share that with me. Like, there's no right or wrong answer. Share that with your peers. What do you think? Can you not be a hero after you've been one? What would make that change? Or are you always a hero? What do you think?
I think that if you were a hero at one point, everyone's always going to remember you as that, but also everyone can make mistakes and everybody has flaws. So if you're already a hero, I mean, everybody respects you for what you did, but also you can have your downfall too.
You're gonna go through many stages in life where you might be, like she said, you're gonna be the hero, but then you're gonna be at that one point in stage in life where you're just going to do so many mistakes, but you're gonna learn from them. But you might not be a hero again, but you probably already been one. So it's just like keeping it in your records of you've been a hero, and maybe if you're not anymore, it's okay. I mean, you're not going to be a hero forever, because in life you make mistakes, and you did not come to this life to be a hero forever. You die.
Yeah. Think about what is one of the traits of a hero's journey. When the hero returns home, they have to make a decision to do something. Do you remember what that decision is? Anybody?
Whether or not to return to being a hero.
Close. Partly, yes. They have to decide whether they're going to stay in that ordinary world that they return to, or do what? Go back out and do what?
Go back and help others.
Yeah, go back out and help others
Make a change.
Yeah, go through the journey. Think about if you live this life of like adventure, and then you come home to just ordinary. Sometimes that's not okay anymore, right? Like, you don't want that anymore. Think about what are some, like, we talked about characters that went through the hero's journey that we know about, like in our society and our culture, like from movies or things like that. What's a superhero you can think about from a movie?
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Why do we think about Spider-Man? What does he do?
He goes out at night and like saves people.
Mm-hmm. During the day, what does he do?
From being a simple boy, not knowing nothing, and then becomes a hero, helping a lot of people out. So he changes throughout, without him knowing that he was going to become Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, like he teeter-totters that line of like a normal life, and then boom, woof, all this stuff going on, like you're saving people right and left, right? Think about that. It's probably hard, and I have seen, I don't watch a lot of movies, y'all, but I've seen, I think my son has made me sit there and watch one of them or whatever, and he struggles with just the ordinary world. Am I right? Y'all movie buffs can tell me. Who has seen these Spider-Man and knows all about Spider-Man? Does he just love to be ordinary, or does he like the excitement?
A little bit of both.
Okay. And he's both, yeah. Okay. Anybody got anything else to add on that question? Lots of y'all didn't add your voices. I want to hear, like, what makes him a hero? This is a great one to answer.
Well, like I said earlier, just because you may like a hero, being called a hero may stand for a short time, don't just stop at that. Like, keep trying to help others and being kind to others. And not just for the title of being a hero, but just to help others.
Anything else?
I've actually seen two instances where a hero isn't a hero anymore.
Okay.
One is in a positive context and one is in a negative one. So first, I'm pretty sure most of you have seen Star Wars. So at first, Anakin was a hero to most people, and then later on he actually became the main villain of the movie. And so that's how a hero can no longer be a hero in a negative context, because they make a really big mistake. And another way is in Lord of the Rings, or mainly The Hobbit, where Bilbo Baggins was basically a big leader, and he was pretty much the main character in The Hobbit, but in Lord of the Rings, he kind of retired his title of a hero and just
example that relates back to Spider-Man. In one of the movies, he had some problems, and he ended up he literally threw his spider suit in the trash. But he goes back to being a hero later on.
Why do you think he did that?
Mental problems.
Yeah.
His life kind of went down the drain.
He's probably frustrated, right? Yeah. Those are great examples. I mean, I hadn't thought about those two. Those are great. I like those. Yeah. I love it. I love Star Wars. So I don't know. I can't believe I've not made that connection. Dang, that was good. All right. Let's move on. You want to read question 2 for us?
Yes. It says, what flaws does Odysseus possess? How do his flaws affect him and those around him on his journey?
Let's get somebody that hasn't answered. Like, it's always easier to answer first, right? Yeah, I promise it is. Who hadn't answer this one for me? There's no right or wrong answer. Come on. Come on, y'all. We've got some lists on the board you could use.
I feel like Odysseus is dishonest because during the cattle, he wasn't honest with his men and didn't tell them that if he ate the cattle that they would die. And I feel like that is a flaw that affects him and his men because after they ate the cattle, they all died and he lost all his men and he had to rely on himself.
I agree with you,
Because also throughout the whole story, he has all these men that fought with him and that he can trust and that trust him. But then as we go through, more and more men are dying and under his leadership too. So this just really shows how sometimes he can be selfish or careless because he starts with a ton of men and then it's just him because they all die. So that really shows that he can be selfish and careless too.
I also agree with Kinsley and Emma, and I also think that he can get too much pride sometimes. And whenever they were at the Cyclops and he told the Cyclops that nobody did it, and then later on he goes to say that his name was Odyssey and revealed the truth to him. I think he had too much pride because that caused danger later on for him and his men.
I agree with all 3 of y'all because, like you were saying, at the beginning of his journey, he started off with being a really good leader and everything with all of his men, caring for them, but then he got at this point of his journey and of his life where he just went down and he just got too much pride, and that is what made him go down, and that's where it made him get to a point where he's lonely because of being careless and being selfish. He lost all of his men and everything, and he ended up being by himself, and he noticed of all his characteristics that were not good, all of his mistakes. It was too late by the time he noticed, which was at the end. So it's like what y'all said, it's just it brought him down and left him alone.
And part of having a hero in literature is most of the time they're always going to have a tragic flaw. We talked about that. Think about people that you know. Let's put it in a real life perspective. Do you think that we have tragic flaws?
Yes.
Okay, give me some examples of what you think tragic flaws are, like to just us in real life.
I think a tragic flaw is having a bad attitude. Because on sports teams, you have that one bad apple on the team that could bring the entire team down. And you could an example is in softball. If we were a good team, but then we had drama on the team or a bad apple, and that made it negative, then we could lose going to state just because of one bad apple and one bad attitude.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with this? Disagree? Somebody tell me why you agree or disagree.
I agree because it can not only be in sports, but it can also be like in family or friends. Because like she said, if one person, let's just say for instance in your family, you live this point where your family is just the best and you're living your happy life, but then there gets to a point where one family member just changes and something gets into them and they just change into a different person. But they don't change into better, they change into just probably just being a liar or something and hurts your family. And that's whenever, if one member, a family cares about each other, well, most of all a family, so if you care about that person but that person just changed out of nowhere, you can't do nothing about it, everyone in the family gets affected because everyone cares about that person. But the actions of that person makes the whole family go down and hurts the whole family. So it can be in any other position of life too, in your friends. Probably when you go to the store and if you work at the store and you're not so nice to your customers because you just change out of nowhere and you don't care, your customers are just gonna go away because you're not being like a leader or something like that. You don't have good characteristics, traits or something.
I agree with them. I think your attitude like affects everything you do. Like the way you look at a situation. If you look at it in a negative way, you're gonna have like negative vibes that go with it.
Have any of you ever dealt with addiction? Like you've seen it firsthand in a family member or a friend? I think of like addiction as that could be considered a tragic flaw. I mean, and if you've dealt with it either firsthand or just if you've heard people talk about it, I mean, do y'all agree? Could addiction be a tragic flaw?
Hesitation can also be one. As more often than not, you'll end up hesitating, and because of that, something bad will happen.
That's good, yeah. What else?
Revenge would also make everything fall because like we were talking about then, revenge doesn't help you in anything. It just hurts you more because if you think at that point it's gonna be so, you feel happy, you did it, you feel better, but then you realize it really didn't help you in anything, and you just hurt other people and you hurt yourself, and you did not know that until you noticed too late. Oh, I already did that. I cannot do anything about it now. So it just breaks everyone down and yourself. So you throw yourself down with others around you too.
Isaiah, I know you have a different opinion on revenge. You were just talking about it earlier. What did you say earlier? A little louder, we didn't hear you. Isaiah,
We want to hear your disagreement.
come on, what'd you say?
That revenge is not always a bad thing, you know. In someone's person, revenge could make you feel like you did something right. Other people might not see it that way, but you as a person, I mean, a lot of things could change if you got your revenge, in my opinion. It could make you feel better. It could make you feel more powerful. It could also bring negative things because you feel more powerful. But that's just my opinion.
I somewhat agree with Isaiah on this, but for a different reason, because a lot of times after you got your revenge, it will change you, sometimes for the worse, but I think a lot more of the time you'll understand that, well, this didn't do anything for me.
Okay, so takeaways from the Odyssey. Let's end this. What are some takeaways? What are some lessons we can learn from the Odyssey and the journey?
I honestly think that you can apply it to your own life and just think about a hero's journey and how you can be a hero to other people in your own way. It doesn't have to mean that you can do that you save people's like lives by being a superhero or having powers or even going on big adventures, but you can just be a hero by complimenting somebody and just being kind to one another and just, you know, help somebody out is what I think.
What else? Who else? What do you learn from his battles with people? With his battles for things he can't control?
I kind of think that everybody is their own hero, and a hero's journey actually kind of proves that because everybody goes through this downfall. They all like return home and stuff like that. So I think that it kind of shows us that we shouldn't be afraid to be our own hero or somebody else's. And you don't have to be like some great person, like a president or something, to be a hero. You can just be somebody who sits in the back of the classroom.
That's good. Anybody else? No? Well, y'all are my heroes today. I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all did good. I gotta take this off. Woo!